Opinions expressed during the related show are those of the show personalities and guest alone, and not those of Vic Canellis Media Group, its parent, affiliates, or stations. VCMG Live is not responsible for any content, information, or opinions expressed. User bears full responsibility for their reliance on such content, information, or opinions.
Welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. With over 20 years of real estate experience and selling over 150 homes a year, Laura Sanders is the #1 RE/MAX agent in the state of Florida for 2021. Join us each week as we discuss how to make money through buying and flipping homes to renting versus selling and everything in between. To join the conversation, call in live 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Hi everyone, welcome to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am your host, Laura Sanders. Every week we talk about something to help you make a little money, maybe save a little money, or maybe just help you navigate this crazy world we live in. And as you hear me say every week, my oh my, what a crazy world. Some days I get up and say to myself, what is going to happen today? So today I fought online with TD Bank for charges on my credit card that I did not do. Today I have almost my ceiling coming in from a leak. And it's funny, my husband always asks, is it you against the world today or is it the world against you today? So it's just part of living life. But here with me today is Dawn, and we're going to talk about what is going on in the real estate world today, and what am I seeing in the real estate world today?
It's summer in South Florida, and everyone is slow. Business is slow. It's 4th of July weekend. People are closing. It's a holiday tomorrow, but yet you're busy.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. A lot of companies that I do business with, the sign company the other day, the people that do like the printing of the brochures and the printing of postcards, and he says, oh, people come in here all the time and they're like, you do Laura Sanders printing? And he's like, yeah, because he had some signs that were the wrong size, so he kept them. And he's like, yeah, and he's like, oh, I really want to learn to be like her. And I'm like, that's just I think that's just weird that people are like, you know.
What's it like to be you?
Can I tell you what it's like? Can I tell you what it's like to be
what
you?
It was like to be your husband.
Oh, to be married to me, yeah.
Right, to be married to you. What's it like to be you?
That's a great question. That is a great question. So, it's funny. I'm around a lot of people all the time. I'm a little shy. People are like, no, you're not. I really am. You won't find me unless I've warmed up or gotten to know you, where I'll actually like jump in. Sometimes I say inappropriate things just because I think that's just my defense mechanism, joking around. And some people get really offended, right? But when I was younger, and that was a long time ago, though the people that are older than me, they're like, you are younger. But when I was younger, and I kept saying to myself, I really want to have like a lot of listings, and I could do like 300 of them at a time. Now, maybe 10 years ago I could, because things have changed. Give you an example, and I know I'm digressing from what it's like to be me, but give you an example. To list a condo in today's market is more trouble and time consuming than to sell a single family home for 3 or 4 times the amount. The amount of paperwork you have to gather to make sure you're doing the right thing. And I'll give you an example. The other day, I asked the association, is there a capital contribution? A lot of associations have capital contributions. I also asked, is there a time frame that you have to wait before you can rent? Because people ask that question all the time. Another question that I asked was, can you just verify what the maintenance includes? How much is it? Because I have to tell you, a lot of times you ask the owners, are like, I don't know, I have to go look at my bank account. And then I could show you a text today from somebody. I asked them, what's included in your maintenance? Her response was, I don't know. I said, well, you're going to need to figure this out because they will not answer us. So the response back from the association said, there's a charge for us to answer those questions. I wrote back to her and I said, and I didn't write anything to butter her up or anything. I wrote back, please tell me how you would want me to appropriately sell this property without this information if the seller doesn't know the information either. And I am responding to you, including now the owner back in the response.
And what did you get back?
We're going to go ahead and waive that fee this time and answer the questions. One of the girls that works for me is like, how did you get them to answer that? The fact of the matter is we as association owners, because I own property in associations, we as the owners do not work for them. They work for us. And this minute I said, I'm going to include the owner back in this response, all of a sudden now I'm getting answers. And that's the biggest problem that I'm finding right now in this market, is that I'm chasing after information because, to be fair, I own rentals. If you asked me when the last time on X, Y, and Z property I changed the water heater, I'm probably the worst bookkeeper when it comes to that. I'd have to go there and look and see what the age is.
Right.
If you ask an owner, how old is your AC? You know what their answers are most times? It works good. I didn't ask you if it works. Clearly it works, right? But how old is it?
Because they don't know, and they don't want to say because they know that's going to be an issue when it comes time to sell it.
Correct. So, or they really don't know, or it works well.
Right.
20 years ago, now I've been doing this about 28, and I've been doing this longer than that because I started out buying property. But about 20 years ago when I was selling, maybe even 24 years ago, long time ago, when I was pretty new into the business, right? I used to sell a lot of properties like all over, even in Fort Lauderdale. And that explains why I started with a farm in a certain area. But I used to sell a lot of stuff in Fort Lauderdale. And there'd be 50-year-old roofs 20-something years ago. Clay tile roofs, which, by the way, you step on a clay tile roof, it breaks. It's very volatile. You get back your home inspection report. I don't ever remember really negotiating repairs back then. Nobody said, oh, the roof is 33 years old. Oh, the roof is 50 years old, and I want a credit for a roof. Does the roof leak? No. But after Wilma,
Right.
the whole world, the whole dynamic changed like you wouldn't believe.
And housing prices now are so crazy, right? So everyone wants to get more. We were just talking to one of the producers. For him to be able to afford a first house, he's looking at Jensen Beach. He's looking at Port St. Lucie, but he works in Boca. So I think when it comes to
It's
that,
going to be the gas is going to offset
the gas
and
is
the
gonna,
time
right?
and
The gas time.
right.
All right, so you got $1 million house. If you can get a little bit towards a new roof, if you know you have to put it, I guess they're going to try. People try anything now, I guess.
I don't disagree, but at the same time, like, yeah, and I also tell people it's about. I was showing one of my listings yesterday, and the lady that came, she was from New York, and she said, "Oh, 6 years ago, I almost bought a house here." Now, 6 years ago is right before COVID, right before. I said, "Oh," she goes, "Yeah, I found a house I love, but my boyfriend told me not to do it." I said, "Oh, that house must be double the price now." She goes, "It is." And I said, "So forget about COVID, forget about 2005, like in general, people that when I sold them a $285,000 house, that was a lot of money." And then I fast forward 15 years later, that 285 is now worth 785, right? So 15 years. That definitely, COVID definitely took a toll on us, definitely put us in a tailspin for prices. But at the same time, this is what I'm trying to say to people is like, if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. But if the bank says you can afford it, then it's called a lifestyle change, because that lifestyle change won't be forever.
That's interesting. So you think based on the bank saying you're approved, then you could theoretically afford it based on the numbers that you give the bank.
By making lifestyle changes.
If you make the changes.
And what is a lifestyle change?
Next question.
When you go to the bank, and by the way, I look at a lot of people's bank statements, because when I do rentals, if I rent somebody's place out, we ask for their last 2 months' bank statements. Uber Eats, Chipotle. The amount of money being spent on fast foods and paying for people to deliver the food to you. The only thing I recommend is that you definitely Uber if you're drunk, because that will cost you a whole lot more, right? But Uber Eats, I'm seeing McDonald's, this, that, like, and you take up and you add their month bank statements just on food alone. If you want to be a homeowner, you need to be willing to say, I'm going to crock pot it a couple of nights. Because crock potting, all it is throwing a bunch of ingredients in a crock pot, plugging it in, letting it cook all day. You don't have to know how to cook. I can cook. I don't like to cook. Like, I brought a client mangoes the other day. She had mango salsa, mango smoothie. She made mango bunk cake, right? Like, I look at those mangoes and I'm like, the only thing for me is to cut them and eat them. Like, there's no making anything. Because I'd rather go out and work and make
money. So we're looking at the lifestyle changes to be able to afford the house that the bank says you can afford based on the numbers.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather eat scrambled eggs before I sit there and Uber Eats every 5 minutes. But the amount of money that's being wasted in this economy on eating out,
and ordering
for it to be delivered to you because you're too lazy to pick it up on the way home.
Sure. Or cook it.
Remember
the kids were little, I cooked. I crock potted a lot of nights.
Yeah.
I dollar stored a lot of cans of beans and things that you had to do. Yeah. Back then, I thought houses were expensive. Now it's a whole nother ball game of what it is.
Exactly.
Of what people are looking to do. But back to the day in the life of Laura Sanders.
So, okay, going back to me. So, what is it like to be me? Some days I'm very grateful. I mean, I'm grateful all the time, right? But I also tell people be very careful of what you want, right? Because at the same time, and I'm going to digress again about what it's like to be me, and going back to when I was younger and I worked at Publix as a bagger. And I remember always going into Subway. And my husband always says to me, you know, back when I was younger, I told my dad to buy a Subway. Because I don't know if you know, Jimmy John's just actually like superseded Chick-fil-A. Wow. So friends of mine have been like, oh, we want to buy a Jimmy John's. And I'm like, you're in your 60s, that's crazy, right? Like, just enjoy your life. And then I said to my husband, it's not about buying the franchise. It's about finding people to come to work. I have to say, like, the fact that you guys have so many people that do work here, like, I'm sure a lot of people, though, don't show up for their shift. They think it's okay. Like, I had an employee the other day that didn't show up for our meeting. And when they came to the office, I said, and I actually even cringed that I even said this, but I said, if this was a real job, because I think it's a real job, but a lot of people think real estate's not a real job, right? I said, but if this is a real job, what do you think would have happened after this morning? Because you were sick 2 weeks ago, and you didn't call in either, and I had to call and found out you were throwing up. But here we are 2 weeks later. What do you think would have happened? I would have been fired. That's right, you would have been. So.
But I think the workplace, and we've totally digressed off of the topic of what it's like to be
me.
Laura Sanders.
But it's part of what it's like to be me.
But I think that's part of what it's like in this culture right now. Because when we were
I work.
kids,
that's what it's like to be me.
When your mom and dad worked, when my dad was a physician.
My mom didn't work, but yeah.
If a nurse didn't continually show up, she was out of work. They're not even 2 weeks. If you continue to act like this, you're not going to have a job. People don't do that anymore because if you have a good employee, they're so rare to find. You keep them and you deal with what they say.
Right.
So it becomes, if they say they're going to take off or they say they're sick or they don't, if they're good the rest of the time, you keep them because it's so hard in any industry right now to find good people.
Yep. And that's the thing. So when you ask, and why I keep digressing on little tangents to get to what it's like to be Laura, right? Is that if I was a twin, my mom probably couldn't have handled me in a good way, right? I've always been very, very much a go-getter. So at the age of 10, I worked in a florist till I was 14.
Wow.
So I know how to make arrangements. I know how to do FTD, all that, like getting, you know. And then I moved here when I was 14. So from 14 to 14 to 17, I worked at Publix. And from 17 to 19, I worked at Winn-Dixie. But when I was 18, I went and got a serving job at Wags, which was like one of the big, like kind of like a Denny's back in the day. And I worked there until I finished undergrad. So I've always been a worker. I've always had multiple jobs at one time till now, where my main focus is only this. This is what I do full time. And if you ask me to do something for you, I will tell you it is going to be done. You do not have to worry about if you ask me for a task to be done, it will be done. I promise you. So being me, I am very grateful if you hire me, where most people at the point in my career are like, you should hire me. I'm the best at what I do. And they treat you like that. Now, maybe that works for some people, but that's just not who I am. So I always thank them. Thank you for trusting me with your business. And I know that I'm sending you everything you need, doing everything you need. So when we come back, we're going to talk more about what's going on in the market. We're going to go to commercial break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
At JK Closing Attorneys, we do all of the same things that a title company does, but with the benefits of being a law office. We can help with residential real estate, short sales, commercial real estate, refinances, 1031 exchanges, and FRIPTA withholding.
Contact JK Closing Attorneys today at 954-332-3111. Again, that is 954-332-3111.
Priority One Credit Union of Florida is a welcoming credit union that makes your financial success our #1 priority. We offer lower loan rates, higher deposit rates, and common sense local loan approvals, with nationwide access through shared branching.
Hi, I'm Dina Hennessy, President and CEO at Priority One Credit Union. We are open to the community. Anyone can be a member of our credit union, and we would love to have you.
Contact us today at 954-335-5100. You can also reach us at PriorityOneFL.org. Your financial success is our priority. That's 954-335-5100.
You have been watching Making Money with Laura. For more information, contact Laura Sanders at 954-650-0827 or visit her website at laurasell.com. And now back to the show.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Making Money with Laura Sanders, and I am Laura Sanders. So today we're talking about what it's like to be me.
You. And you're busy. So being you is a good thing.
Yeah.
And you raise your kids like you and Mike, right? Because I think being you is what your kids see. We model for our kids. It's not just what we say, it's what they see every day. It's the work ethic. It's showing up. It's being good to people. Mm-hmm. It's getting things done that you say you're going to do. And that's how the next generation learns, is we lead by example. It's the only thing we can hope that we can do.
And that's what that's what I try to do. I mean, I really try my best to, utilize people that I do business with. That's stressful in itself. Like, I'm more of a listing agent than I am a buyer's agent, but I love my buyers when I do have them. But it seems like lately more of my buyers have been in Boca, so I don't get to pick the title company, so that's a problem. But there's a lot of stress in this, and I think that I'm honest, and if I can't do something, I'll tell you can't do it.
Is there anything you've come across that you actually say, I can't do it?
So I'm more than happy to refer you out for somebody for rentals that works for me, but I personally cannot be the one that does that. There's only so many hours in the day, and one of the things that I'm getting better at is telling people no. no, it has to be told, right? But this is this job is definitely takes probably 90% of my life.
When you started, how many years ago?
20 as a realtor, 28 years ago.
And how many changes have you seen?
A lot of changes. Like I said, I would do a home inspection. Nobody really asked for all these repairs. People weren't so picky. I don't even think people read the reports, to be honest with you. Now I'm pointing out things to people just because who do you think they get mad at later on?
What are some of the hot things that you're looking at on a home inspection that might make a deal not go through?
Old roofs, not getting at least 5 years of life on the inspection report. What else?
Termites, is that a big thing anymore?
Termites can be spot treated. I don't think it's a big deal.
It used to be a thing.
It is, but it's
Wood frame versus block home?
But we don't, yeah, but so wood frame, which actually in Boca, old Floresta has some wood frame homes. So you would say that the insurance might be about $1,000 more a year.
That's it?
Yeah, but it's still $1,000, right? So
But now over the year, you're looking at what, $100-something, $120 a month isn't?
Depends on who you are, though, and what that means, right?
True. Right.
But yeah, I mean, my parents almost moved to Port St. Lucie instead of to Coral Springs when we moved here 38 years ago. And it's funny, I actually remember all the realtors that used to mail to the house because I got the mail every day because I was waiting for my friends from New York to send letters to me. And it's funny how I became a realtor and yet I always remember all that marketing in the back of my head. So, but a lot of things I'm seeing right now are people doing bridge loans to buy homes.
Which is what?
A bridge loan is where you have a home to sell, and that home to sell, basically, you take that money and they give you time to sell your house after you bought the other house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've had recently people call me and ask me to sell their homes off market, under value because they want it to be quick, because they don't want to pay the money in the long run for the bridge loan and the cost expenses associated with it.
Because it's hard to sell and buy on the same day.
No, that is not hard. What's hard is finding the house you want.
Yes.
And you've already sold your home.
And the bridge loan carries you for how long?
I think it's 6 months. So
it gives you a window to find what you want.
I've never had, no. The bridge loan happens on the day that you find your house. So you already are qualified, but you haven't closed on it. So you've gotten qualified for the bridge loan, right? And then you go out shopping. So in essence, you could still put your house on the market, but then not, and then have it closed and then make it simultaneously work. So it gives you the ability to go out in case your house doesn't sell, you still can close on the new home without losing your deposit.
So interesting. So I remember doing that, not taking the bridge loan, but selling my house and then running out and looking, this was in the middle of COVID, for another house.
I don't even know how you got one.
It was crazy. It was really just by the luck of the gods. But it happened. But I remember thinking, like, what if it didn't happen? Where we're going to go rent? What were we going to do? Where were we going to be? It was stressful. And now the prices are even higher.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been a crazy market. And, there's things that I feel that I can offer to people that other people can't offer to them, and things that I know. And one of the things that I find, and, people that are listening that are consumers, not agents, is that I think it's scary to depend on somebody else to manage your transaction. So,
Meaning a realtor?
Yes.
Okay.
And so as that, I feel it's important for them to understand that I have not had any situations happen where I've made a mistake that costs my seller or buyer any kind of monetary loss.
But that's why you're so good at what you do. And we tell people over and over, 3+ years you've been doing this is why to hire you, because you know the nuances. You know what's going on in the mortgages. You know what's going on with the HOAs. You understand the condo market. You understand the private market. You understand the country clubs, the assessments, what's happening, the A-rated schools, the details of moving, how to keep your house, how to stage your house, what to look for. Look at the bones. You've done it all. So for anyone who's out there listening and you go, oh, I don't know, should I? Yeah, call Laura. Either
Yeah,
way,
definitely
whether
help
buying
you.
or selling, she gives you honesty, and that's the one thing I love about you.
Yeah,
If
I
you're
am honest. Some
honest.
people don't want to hear honesty.
You're honest.
But the other thing is like some people are taking advantage of me, and they're like, it's like, listen, one person got where they were like, I need you to come to my house and tell me everything I need to do. I go, great. Once you sign the listing agreement, I'm more than happy to do that. The fact that they're like, no, you need to tell me, but there's no commitment to me, so why am I going to spend my time going through every single room with you and telling you what to do?
Right.
That doesn't make any sense. So I respect my time as much as I respect you, and I feel that that's the same. And I have a master's degree. I'm not like some stupid realtor that doesn't know. I have the ability to follow through. You will get me all the time. I have a team, but if you need me, I will always answer. I have people texting me at 6 a.m. in the morning, 12 o'clock at night, like.
And you're always there, and you always answer, and you know the details. And your assistants can't even keep up with you.
No.
People cannot keep up with this woman. She's like a one-woman show with an extended team that gets everything done.
But I get everything done, and I have to tell them very specific. You need to do this, and I need that. And when it's done, I want to see it.
Because at the end of the day, it stops with you. The client signs with you.
They sign with me,
They
and
sign
I'm
with
always
you.
there. So, if you're thinking about buying or selling, you definitely want to give me a call. Laura Sanders with Remax Direct, 954-650-0827. Again, 954-650-0827. Or you can check me out on the web at laurasell.com. And like I always say, I'm so appreciative of you listening and watching streaming, Making Money with Laura Sanders. Till next week, make it a great week.
Happy 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for tuning in for Making Money with Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. To join the conversation, call us at the studio, 888-994-4995 Studio A, or contact Laura directly at 954-650-0827. Laura Sanders, a name you can trust. We look forward to seeing you next.